It's episode 14 of Birds vs. Boys. Everybody, you have KMS and Aidan here. We are done with week 4, and we are looking forward to week 5 in the NFL. We're going to give you a little bit of our locks of the weekend, our power rankings later in the show. We have an awesome interview with the one and only Jeff Cavanaugh from 105.3 The Fan. Aidan, how much fun was that interview?
He was awesome. I know I'm supposed to hate you guys as Cowboys fans, but I came away. I was like, wow, I really like this guy. Like, I'd hang out with these guys.
Right? And he knows his stuff, too, which is great.
He really knew his stuff. We'll definitely have to have him back on as we get closer to the NFL draft towards the end of the season. Ton of great stuff with that.
100%. So you're all going to enjoy that later in the show. But unfortunately, before we get into all of that, we got to talk a little COVID again. We're going to keep this very short and sweet. But, Titans, what the fuck?
I know. I feel like the league probably is saying that to them in a politically correct way. What the fuck are you doing? And we talked about it before, but I guess we can go back to it. Like the coaches who only think or care about football and don't really care about anything outside of it, even a pandemic, are going to end up in trouble. So they are literally going to end up in trouble because they just didn't care.
I mean, how many times did you say a man that says he will cut his dick off for a Super Bowl trophy is not going to wear a mask during a game or care about any type of protocols for COVID?
No, and like the latest thing that came out was they couldn't practice because of the COVID outbreak. So then they scheduled their own like unofficial practice. They're just not getting it, and you kind of saw that one coming with who runs the team. No offense, I'd like him as a coach, but yeah, you could see this coming.
And then teams like the Steelers kind of get screwed, right? Because they didn't even know they were on a bye week really until about Friday, and now this is like their bye week, and now they got to go the rest of the season without one.
Hold on, we get screwed more than like they just got a bye week. We just came back from the West Coast in a night game, like, and then have to go play them. Like we get screwed more than them. Like no offense, like that does suck. You have to go the whole rest of the year, but in the short term, we get screwed.
You do. I mean, that's going to be an L anyway. But do you see a forfeit coming up for the Titans? Draft picks taken away, financial compensation?
Definitely, the league loves to do the draft pick thing.
Mm-hmm.
Leagues love just being like, look, your second round pick, it's gone. I think that happened to the Patriots during Deflategate as well as the suspension.
Yep.
I think the coaches in the front offices will definitely get fined. I can see the draft pick thing coming. Last thing they're going to want to do is have a forfeit because you know what? That's money out of the league's pocket. Now you're messing with the league's money. If you don't play, we can't put you on TV. We can't get your money.
And they do not want to mess with any bit of the legitimacy of this season. I mean, this season's under so much scrutiny as it is, taking games away and forfeiting no team, no owner, and Roger Goodell definitely did not want to deal with that.
Not a chance. They'll do anything to save the money flow coming in. So we'll see where it goes from here.
Stop fucking up. Stephon Gilmore with COVID. Stop hugging Patrick Mahomes. We don't need this, okay?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. We've been doing so good. It was all our preseason talk, and then we've been doing so good not having to talk about it. So as of right now, we're done with it.
Perfect.
Power rankings?
Let's do it.
All right. So we've been doing our power rankings this year, 1 down to 5, obviously, because if you go 5 to 1 this season, it's kind of anticlimactic because everybody knows who 1 is. Ready, Aiden? We'll do it together. 1, 2, 3, the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are 1. I mean, they didn't even look great the other night. Patrick Mahomes was confused, but they're still phenomenal.
That's what's scary. They don't even look good. Like they haven't had like a Chiefs performance yet where you're like, wow, they might drop 50 tonight, and they're still 4-0, and no one's really come that close.
No.
So we'll see. But yeah, for now, easy number 1.
You want to give 2, or do you want me to go?
You can go because I have something special for my 2.
Okay. Last week I had the Ravens. They are not my number 2 anymore. I am going with the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show this week, just balls deep, saying, when I have down years, that's career years for other quarterbacks. He is back. I've been saying it for weeks. This Green Bay team keeps doing what we asked them to do and just keep winning ball games. And I think Aaron Rodgers is on a tear this season, and he doesn't give a fuck. And Danica Patrick is gone.
Great quote and great pick. I also had the Packers as number 2. It might be recency bias, but here's why. This is why. Because they beat the Falcons, and I hate the Falcons with all of my heart. Matt Ryan, they fucked me every single way possible, and now it is translated into fantasy football. They couldn't get one completion to Calvin Ridley. One. He was open half the time. Louis Riddick is begging Matt Ryan to throw it to him. Matt Ryan should be charged with war crimes for what he did on Monday Night Football. Dan Quinn should be in a Siberian prison for the rest of his life for how he uses and utilizes the weapons on this team. They are a disgrace to the United States of America. They should be banished to the XFL. So the Packers are 2 because they beat these assholes. This is so perfect. Now, I know no one cares about my fantasy team, but I had a double-digit lead, and I blew it and lost by half of a point because who? The Falcons, of course. The Falcons are the reason for another collapse.
It's every week with them, with you.
I hate them so much. On to number 3.
I have the Ravens. Moved them down from 2 to 3. I still think, they beat up on Washington. They're still a phenomenal team. But like you said, recency bias with the Packers. That's why I moved the Packers up to 2. Ravens sitting at.
All right. I have just Russell Wilson again. They a bit of a trap game going down to Miami, and with Fitzmagic.
You called that.
They really didn't even, it got kind of close here and there, but it felt like they were in control the entire time. Gotta love Russell Wilson on the MVP tear. He stays as number 3. He was there last week for me as well.
And I have Russell Wilson at number 4.
Perfect.
Again, the defense isn't great. You called that kind of a trap game going down to Miami, but they're still a great team. So I have Russell Wilson at 4.
I have the gold standard, the Pittsburgh Steelers, our opponent this week, sitting at 4. I know they might not be in a lot of people's top 5 because they didn't get to play, but I'll tell you what, they might be 4 now, but they are on upset alert this week.
Upset alert. Upset alert. Okay, I like it. So I had the Steelers number 5 last week on my power rankings. I took them off just because they didn't get to play. Doesn't mean they can't pop right back. Fair. I am exactly what you said. Recency bias again. I have Bill Belichick with an actual quarterback at number 5. We saw what they did against the Chiefs the other night when they had to fly out there in 2 separate planes the day of the game with Brian Hoyer, who thinks he's Russell Wilson in the red zone. All they needed was a freaking field goal at the end of the half, and they're in that game. But, Brian Hoyer gets a sack. If Cam Newton's in that game, I think there may be a different outcome. And Bill Belichick, like I said, had Patrick Mahomes guessing. He had him confused. So, Bill Belichick with a real quarterback is my team at 5.
Yeah, it's like they came up 1 yard short against Seattle and lost the COVID game against the Chiefs. Like, they're the best 2-2 team that there is. I love that big. I can't wait to see the graphic of, in parentheses, with Cam Newton.
Yes, exactly.
at 5. Now, I have another AFC East team in there at 5. I have the Bills. They're playing great, but I would just like to get into the fact, it's a shame that in the Bills' best start to the season in so long, since their Super Bowl run, that Bills Mafia can't be allowed in the stadium.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That really sucks. I feel bad for them, so I'm putting them in for 5 as a small consolation.
I like that. Yeah, they're for real. I called that Stephon Diggs there was one of my favorite transactions this offseason going there. And Cole Beasley said when he joined that team that organization, that team was better than the Dallas Cowboys. People laughed at him, but he was right.
It's amazing what happens to a quarterback when you actually give him a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. It's so crazy that Kyler took off with DeAndre Hopkins and Josh Allen took off when he was given Stephon Diggs, and Dak took off when he's given CD, Amari Cooper, and Gallup. And I just can't put my finger on why Carson Wentz isn't going off throwing the Travis fucking Fulgham. Can't put my finger on it.
Who?
No offense, I do love that kid.
Who now?
Travis Fulgham.
Who?
Exactly. No offense, he should be starting over J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, which might be even a worse problem. But sorry, just to get off track. But that is why I love the Bills. Congratulations on a great start.
Why'd you got to do that?
Yeah, he's got my fantasy score. Look at this bullshit. This is terrible. And guess what? Guess who the other team has? Todd Gurley. It's ridiculous. Todd Gurley had more receptions than Calvin Ridley. How does Matt Ryan do that? How does he have a job today?
I lost my fantasy matchup as well, thanks to the Falcons. Julio Jones, not playing the second half, and I benched Todd Gurley, and I was up by 35, and Kittle killed me. So, yeah, it was great.
It's the Falcons' fault for everything. Blame them.
It is.
All
All right. So, Packers, Ravens, Russell Wilson, Bill Belichick with Cam Newton.
Love it. I have Chiefs, Packers, Russell Wilson, Steelers, Bills, Mafia.
Boom. Those are our power rankings going into week 5. Now, it is time for our locks of the weekend brought to you by Bovada.
Would you like to start, sir? I think you were pretty good last week. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think I was, especially when it came to the Cowboys losing to the Browns. So I think you and I were talking off air. Don't love any of these games this weekend. Don't love any of these lines. Some of these games don't even have lines. Again, thanks COVID. Thanks Titans. My first game, I'm actually going to the Thursday night game.
Ooh, okay.
Bucks are 3.5-point favorites at the Bears. I'm going with the Bucks. I'm going with the GOAT in the Super Bowl rematch against Nicky Foles. I think this Bucks defense is legit. I think Big Dick Nick is going to turn the ball over a couple of times to that defense. He's going to give Tommy a couple short fields, and it's going to be too much for the fraud Bears to handle. Taking the Bucks -3.5 in Chicago on Thursday night.
Love that. It's going to be nationally televised, and I just want to be the first one to say, if Nick Foles doesn't show up, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. He is a closer. He is not a starting pitcher. Thank you very much. My first pick, these games just aren't exciting this week. Not only are the lines not great, like I can't look at a few games and be like, ooh, really excited for this.
Wait. Yep.
Yeah. So the first one I have is the over in the Jets-Cardinals game of 47. I think this is a bounce-back game for the Cardinals. The offense certainly hasn't been the problem, so those put up some points. The Jets are the perfect bounce-back opponent to have, and I can see the Jets putting up some garbage time points. I don't think they'll have Sam Darnold, but kind of what you saw against the Broncos last week, I think they still ended up in the 25 or so points just because that game was in garbage time pretty much from minute 1. So I think Cardinals score a bunch, they win, and it hits the over.
Love it. My second lock of the weekend, Rams are 7-point favorites in Washington. I'm going all over the Rams. The Washington football team has benched Dwayne Haskins. Kyle Allen will be starting. Haskins won't even be the backup. He will be the third string.
Can I say something about that? We also called that. I can't remember a bigger fraud in terms of NFL quarterbacks than Dwayne Haskins, but carry on.
Stinks. Not sure if Chase Young is playing in this game or not. If he doesn't, the line even bigger. Washington stinks. The Rams were not wonderful at home against the Giants last week, but they beat them. I think they're going to be pissed off going into Washington. Take the Rams -7 against Kyle Allen and the Washington football team.
I do agree. The only issue that I have, and Sam Darnold is out, so Joe Flacco is going to start. So the Rams did not cover last week, so they fell out of my top 5. I don't know how you don't cover against the Giants, but I think they do again this week, but I'm staying away. So my second one, I have a theory for you here. You know how I presented you with the new stadium theory, and that gives you an extra +1?
Yep.
Here's what else gives you an extra +1. When everyone on the team hates the coach and then the coach gets fired.
I was going to do this.
Yes. There's a little bit of extra oomph that the team has the next game that they come out. It might not be for the whole season, but for that one game after the coach is fired, they are on a mission to prove who the issue was in that locker room. The Texans -6 versus the Jaguars. I am very confident that they blow the doors off them. This might be Deshaun Watson's best game of the season. There's going to be an extra little boost that they have this weekend.
Especially after all the reports that J.J. Watt came out in the middle of practice just yelling at Bob, which they call Bill O'Brien.
That's the final straw.
Yeah. So I think J.J. is going to have an extra bit of juice this weekend too.
Book it. It's my other theory, and the stadium theory worked. So those are our picks.
Those are our picks.
Play, but it does. I'm pretty confident in the picks themselves.
I am as well. All right. Before we go any further talking about Cowboys and Eagles, obviously birds versus boys. We're going to let you listen to our interview with Jeff Cavanaugh. Like we said earlier in the program, phenomenal interview. The guy knows his stuff, covers the Cowboys. He's on the radio every day. His YouTube channel is phenomenal. He's a must follow on Twitter at JC1053. Brings a little bit of humor to it. Aidan and him get into it a little bit too. So enjoy the interview with Jeff Cavanaugh from 1053 The Fan.
Can't wait.
All right, Aidan, couldn't be more excited about our next guest. I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan or just a football fan in general, I mean, he's a must follow on Twitter at JC1053 or on his YouTube channel. He's one of the 4 guys that make up the G-Bag Nation 2 to 7 every day. That's Central, so that's 3 to 8 for us on 1053 The Fan. And Aidan, he's the single-handed reason why Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb are on the Dallas Cowboys. Joining us from Studio De Jefre down in Texas, the one and only Jeff Cavanaugh. How are you doing, sir?
All right, I'm doing great. Follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh. So if I get fired from radio, I still have a following. Thanks.
You have a pretty strong following. I like to say that.
We're working on it. We're working. Why would you have a banner for the Eagles and the Cowboys in your background?
So yeah, it's a miserable life. So this is me, and then this is my wife. And down in the basement, she would not let me put this up until this went up.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a miserable existence.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The sacrifices of marriage right there.
I mean, if I knew that was going to happen, I mean, I wouldn't have finished the basement.
Like that. I thought you were saying I wouldn't get married, but no,
That
just
too.
the basement.
Just the basement.
Yeah, I thought that's where you were going with it.
So I mean, I want to talk offense with you because obviously you created Team 40 Burger for the Cowboys, and you want to throw the ball around the field, and Kellen Moore and the Cowboys are doing that. But I think I'd be remiss if we didn't start with the big elephant in the room and talk a little bit about this historically bad Dallas Cowboys defense. It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, Team 40 Burger, I feel like got a little misconstrued. I think Mike Nolan thought it was about how many they give up.
Team give up 40 Burger.
Yeah, and that wasn't the idea when it was birthed. The idea was to score a bunch of points, not the other way around. So which one do you want to do first, the offense or the horrendous defense?
Let's go around the horrendous defense because, I mean, if you were creating the team, Miles Jack, TJ Watt, and Taylor Rapp would be on this team, but they're not. So, I mean, is this defense fixable with the pieces that they have? Because it sounds like they don't want to bring anybody else in right now.
Okay, so I think I talked about this today on the old YouTuber Rooney. I think a lot of it is fixable enough.
Okay.
You know, like, can you fix this and make it a good defense? Hell no, of course not. Am I allowed to cuss on here? Is hell a cuss word?
No, you can cuss anything you want.
You can say anything.
There is no chance that this is going to be a good defense, but if you can get back, hopefully they get back Anthony Brown this week. And this is how bad the defense is that I'm going to talk about names like Anthony Brown and Chidobe Awuzie as being guys who can make you better. That's how bad they are, that guys like that can help. And Leighton Vander Esch hopefully can help. And Randy Gregory, who's going to practice tomorrow for the first time, hopefully can help. But the one part of your defense that I don't think you can fix is a defensive tackle, because the guys on the roster are on the roster. They're not hurt.
Yep.
It's who they are. It's Don Terry Poe. It's Antoine Woods. It's Tristan Hill. It's Tyrone Crawford. Those are your defensive tackles, and none of them can play at an NFL level right now. And I don't know how you could project that to change during this season. So that part, no, it's not fixable. Hopefully Randy Gregory can help the pass rush. Hopefully Leighton Vander Esch. And the biggest thing with, if you get Leighton back, isn't even that he would be such a superior player to anybody, because he struggled this year before he got hurt.
Yep.
But he doesn't get confused when you call the defense. Right now, your guy who's calling the defense seems a little overwhelmed by it, in addition to not being a good player. So, you know, if I'm the Cowboys, my goal is to get as close to average as I can on defense. If you can get anywhere near average and you can get the offense sorted out to where it can be, you can be good. But as far as making the defense good, no, it's not possible.
That leads into the question that I had for you, because I posed it to Kevin this week. I might actually be higher on the Cowboys than Kevin is. But I think the Cowboys are going to be in a shootout every single week. And I think the offense is just good enough that they're going to come out on the right side of a lot of those shootouts. So do you agree with that, or do you think the defense is so bad that they're going to be on the wrong end of the stick?
No, I absolutely agree that they can win shootouts because you've given yourself a chance in a couple of these games. I got in a fight on my own show today about the empty stats of Dak. And I'm like, well, hold on. When do they stop being empty? Because you got to the doorstep of victory and you did win one. Like, when do they stop being empty? Did Tom Brady have an empty Super Bowl, or did he win the Super Bowl when he was down 28-3? So this offense is absolutely equipped to win shootouts if they can get any sort of help. But I don't even want to bury the lead here. So the defense is bad. But the defense isn't the primary reason they're losing games. The primary reason they're losing games is the offense can't hold on to the ball because you're -7 in turnover differential. You're the worst in the league at turnover differential, and you're the worst in the league at starting field position, which is a result of the turnover differential. So for the Cowboys, their offense has as big a hand in this as the defense does. Stop giving the ball to the other team where they only have 30 yards to go and where the field goal is already a gimme. You can't afford to, because you know what the defense is. You know what it's going to be. They're going to struggle. You can't make them struggle. You have to let them at least have a chance as the offense. So I think it comes down to like the fixable things. Again, Tyron Smith is back for now. So the fixable thing is stop pretending you have 3 seconds to run a play and your right tackle is going to hold up. Put Zeke there. Put a tight end there. Stop pretending you have time for that. Your offense is plenty explosive. You don't have to have 5 guys in the route. You can do it with 3 or 4. If you can protect your tackle, that will stop your quarterback from getting hit while he's throwing. Zeke, stop fumbling. Now you got a chance to cook with this offense. But right now, they're killing themselves by not protecting the right tackle. Now the quarterback's dropping the ball. The running back's dropping the ball. The tight end's dropping the ball. If they just don't fumble, they're better than 1-3. But that's what they're doing.
Now, you also said field position, which I've been screaming about all season. I mean, how many more chances does Tony Pollard get on these kickoff returns where he's either muffing it or he's bringing it out in the middle of the end zone to the 11-yard line? I mean, what is their yard line that they've been averaging starting at?
23.
23.
You get the 25 for free.
Yeah.
And now if you factor in the fact that occasionally somebody's going to punt from their own end, you should be starting at the 40 or the 50, and you get the 25 for free. To average the 23 is stupid. That's not real. That's not a number, but they do. They average starting on the 23, and their opponents start on the 31. So you're giving up 8 yards per possession. Some games they'll play 14 possessions. Quick math, 14, 28, 56, 112. That's 112 yards you're down before the game starts in field position. Good job, team. And for the Pollard thing, my answer would be 0. You're down to, well, I guess technically 1. It would be, I would have the entire team in a meeting, and I would roll all of the Pollard screw ups, and I would say, that's all you're going to do. This isn't hard. If the ball's not going to land in the end zone, go catch it. If it's going to land in the end zone, let it go. The end. We put you out there because we think you're dangerous on kicks that are returnable, but you're out here doing this, telling people not to touch a ball that's going to land on the 5. If we can't handle the job mentally, then you don't get to do the job physically. I think he should be down to, this is it. You do one more thing, and I'm going to put a jobber back there whose job is just to let the ball land in the end zone or run straight forward after you catch it. You can't, there's too many things that you can't have hurting your football team that are, and they have to stop some of them.
I mean, especially when Joe Thomas is the best linebacker you have playing right now. That says something as well.
That's a problem.
When your $12 million linebacker is guessing and is stopping on an Odell Beckham turnaround because he thinks he's good. It's outrageous. So what's more likely, do you think? You said Randy Gregory is practicing tomorrow. He's coming back week 7. So, I mean, who's taken off this roster once he comes on? Is there any chance Everson Griffin, if he doesn't keep playing, is off this roster? Or is there more of a chance that when Leighton Vander Esch or Sean Lee comes back, that 54 is sat down?
I don't think they'll sit Jalen, although they probably should. When Randy's back, it'll be interesting because, like, they're doing, like, today they cut Brandon Carr. and hopefully they're going to get Anthony Brown back. And then they brought in an offensive tackle. So it doesn't necessarily have to match up position for position, right? You may have an 8th or 9th offensive lineman that gets kicked off the team for Gregory or whatever. I don't think they'll sit Jalen down. They should, but teams just don't do it. You have a lot invested in him. He's uncuttable. He's untradeable because of the salary cap and the dead money. So he's going to play. You just have to hope that Leighton Vander Esch coming back can make Jalen a better player because he doesn't have to call the defense and someone else can line him up and he can just play football. Everson Griffin, if you get through 2 more games and he's not a decent NFL player, they should cut him because it just gives you $3 million to carry over to next year's cap for Dak. Why not? Because right now he's not contributing. He's not a good player. And I know that he doesn't agree and he gets mad at me, but that's just the way that it is. And hell, give Bradley an eye snaps. Give somebody a chance that might deserve snaps. Can Dorrance Armstrong play better than Everson Griffin? 12 months ago, I told you that's the dumbest question I'd ever heard. Today, probably. So if you can't round into form to be anything like he was good in Minnesota last year, Everson Griffin was still really good, and he's not.
I mean, we were all over your the win rate at a 0 on his pass rushes. It was mind blowing.
Do you think you could do that? Do you think if all of us had a chance every play, do you think we'd be at 0? We'd be at 0.
0. Unless Aidan even joked about it. He's like, it's not like even an offensive lineman slipped or he lost his shoe on a play. Maybe that.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I could just get the get off right and they got a bad get off, could I get one in how many, let's call it 50 or 60 snaps a game through 4 games? I got 250 shots at this. No, I'd be at 0 too.
You think you couldn't get around?
Supposed to be at 0.
You couldn't get around Eric Flowers one time if he was playing tackle.
Well, I think after the first 12, he'd have a feel for my plan that I'm just trying to run around him. So maybe I would catch him with an inside move, but I can't plan on the right leg because I've had 9 knee surgeries on that one. I think I'd be at 0, but I know he's at 0. So that's better. Thinking is better than knowing.
Hey, I'm at 0 sitting on my couch watching the games every Sunday.
Damn right.
Speaking of offensive line, obviously, I mean, Lyle Collins is done for the year. They've kept trying to throw Steele out there and not Brandon Knight because, like you said, I mean, what if they need them later in the game? That's a great way to go about things. But if you are building right now this starting 5, and that could include bringing in someone like Ron Leary, who are you throwing out there as your starting 5?
Ooh. The Leary one's a really hard thing to have like a strong opinion on. I know there's people who have a relationship with him that are like, oh, this is so stupid. How do they not bring him in? And it's like, well, I don't know what kind of shape he's in. I don't know any of these things, right? So with what's on the roster, I think it's a no-brainer. I think you just play Brandon Knight at right tackle and you leave everything else alone.
Yep.
The one thing I wonder about is how bad does Connor McGovern look in practice that Connor Williams is still starting and we're not hearing anything about Connor McGovern? Like, because we talked to Jerry and Stephen Jones, right? We're on the home of the Cowboys. And when we ask about, like, Looney and Biotish, it's like, oh boy, that competition now. And it's like, all right, how about Connor Williams? So like, yep, we like him. What?
What does that mean?
He's not playing well. Where's Connor McGovern?
It's radio silence.
Yeah, I would leave it alone. Now, if you had Looney back or if you added Leary, I'd dong around with the idea of putting Zach Martin at tackle for the rest of the year because I know there's not a lot of bright spots on the team today. Maybe there will be in a few weeks if they stop turning the ball over, but you can line up Zach Martin wherever you want. Zach Martin would be an all-pro center. I don't know if he can snap, but he'd learn it in 10 minutes and he'd be an all-pro center. It doesn't matter where you line him up. I can trust you. So if it got bad enough, I could always move him, but I think I would just put Brandon Knight at right tackle. And Terrence Steele wouldn't be dressing for the game because there's no point. And we'd figure it out from there. When you get Looney back, if you want to toy with the idea of Martin at tackle, I'm cool with that. But this team, the other part about that is if you're missing one guy, I don't want to hear crap about it. I don't care. Block. Figure it out. Scheme it up. I don't care. No team is equipped to be missing both tackles. But if you're missing one, I don't want to hear about it. Protect the quarterback and be able to run the ball. I want to hear it. So I would just put Knight at right tackle and go play football.
I'm all in.
Especially this type of year where the COVID year where every single team is dealing with injuries. There's points where we were playing without both of our tackles. So I totally agree. One guy, just help out, play football.
Now you have a rugby player playing tackle for you guys.
I know.
Nice. How'd he do? Pretty good?
He actually did pretty well for his first start. He's just such a massive human being that he's a great run blocker just because he's so big, people can't get around him. We'll see. He's going against TJ Watt this week, so we'll see if how things go this time.
Welcome to the league.
In an alternate universe, TJ Watt's a Cowboy, so you shouldn't be playing against him.
And Taco Charlton's getting sacks for the Chiefs on Monday Night Football against the Patriots.
Yeah, that's cute.
It's just unbelievable.
Isn't this a weird place? I know this isn't a question, but isn't this a weird place to live in where I got big time questions about Will McClay?
Absolutely.
We've reached that point where I've almost never said a bad word about the guy. I was convinced like it wasn't him that took Taco over TJ Watt. It was Rod Marinelli, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had people to blame these things on.
Yep.
But now your entire free agency class is a bust. Like, who am I blaming? I got to blame the guy who's responsible for bringing people in. So Will McClay, what the hell, dude?
I've been saying that, and I hate to say it because you're right. I mean, Will McClay has brought in a lot of good talent through the draft, but I mean, the free agent, we lost McCoy, Dontari. I mean, I loved Stephen Jones said it. Was it today? I think on 103.5. We've seen Dontari Poe do it before. That doesn't mean he can do it anymore.
I saw Roger Staubach do it. Put him out there. Seen him do it. I've seen Fran Tarkenton do it. Put him in.
Put him out. Why not? You know
what's
alive? Fran Tarkenton. Vince, is he alive?
Well, that's definitely. We might have to research that behind the scenes.
He'll pull that up in about 2 seconds.
It feels like something we should know, but these days, you know, with you turn on Twitter and it's like, all right, this guy died. No way. And
I am the worst at is he alive or dead? I'm the worst. The worst.
That should be a game on one of our shows every Thursday. Is he alive or is he dead?
Former Cowboys and former Eagles, are they still with us?
Oh, here we go.
Fran, what do we got? It looks good.
I think he's still. Is there a
dead date?
No, there's not a dead date. There's just a born date.
Yeah.
All right. Still kicking.
1940. Look at that. I think we've seen him do it.
80 years old, cooking.
We've seen him do it. He could cook again.
Put him in. How do you get yourself back on the screen? Oh, there we go.
Look at that.
There we go.
It's the guy behind the scenes. He can take care of it all.
He's a master.
Something else that I wasn't sure if I was going to see or not this year after week 1 when they lost Jarwin, and my kind of pleasant surprise has been Blake Jarwin, or Dalton Schultz. So what is the tape been saying? Has he been playing well?
Not bad.
No.
Surprisingly not bad. When they picked him out of Stanford, I thought that he had something. I thought that he could immediately be a decent blocker and an okay receiver, right? So it's like, hey, this guy could be a starting tight end in the league. The down the field stuff, I think obviously Jarwin is better at that. Jarwin is better after the catch. But I did not think Schultz was going to bring a lot. And I thought that I was going to be starting a campaign to get him off the field and just play 4 wide or play Pollard or whatever. But, you know, he started to even be a little bit of a seam threat. So I would say Schultz, okay. I don't need to be losing another tight end. I don't need the belldozer out there too often, but
no.
Schultz, not bad.
I'll take not bad. With the rest of the weapons on that offense, I will take just not me out there playing.
Yeah, I would take at all these other positions where you lose people. I'd take not bad in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you guys have so much depth that the receiver just opens up the field for him, and he becomes just another scary weapon to have. And that's how they end up scoring 30+ every week. So good for him for filling in.
I had no idea that Cedric Wilson and Noah Brown were going to show some juice in this offense. So it's time to start trading them. Let's get something back here.
So give me your what? Who you, Cedric or Noah Brown? Because I don't think we're touching Gallup.
Oh yeah, I don't care. Trade them both. Yeah, they're just taking away snaps from CeeDee, and I don't appreciate it.
We're gonna get into that.
Cedric's been balling.
Yeah, has been.
I wouldn't actually trade any of them because I think guys like that probably have almost no trade value. Like teams see him and they're like, "Oh, you're mid to late round pick who played a few snaps and caught a couple of passes. Yeah, let me give up a starter for that." We'll just roll with what we got. We're good.
I'm in.
Yeah, there's always that 4th round pick that every team they have one guy who they're high on. But we got into the draft a little bit with like the Taco over TJ thing. 2017 was pretty forgettable for us. But Kevin tells me that you're a big draft guy. So as it stands, the Tankathon has the Cowboys with a top 10 pick. Now, if it stands that way, Who
Not
does
happening.
Jerry Jones inevitably talk himself into? Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chase?
Oh, dude, it wouldn't be Jerry talking himself into it. It'd be me talking him into it. You kidding me? Going 4 wide, NASCAR style? Let's do it. I thought you were going to ask me if we're going to go pick Trey Lance and get rid of Dak.
Please no.
Man, Chaser. I know Chase is kind of the consensus top guy, but dude, Waddle has got juice. That dude is a freak show when he takes off. I'm going to abstain until I've actually studied them. I don't start until like December, but I'll just say yes to both. Give me a top. They won't actually pick a receiver, but man, that'd be fun. I mean,
I was about to say,
the team would probably suck, but man, that'd be fun.
Score a lot of points. But we give up even more.
It'd be the perfect like fantasy football team, but in real life. Like they would just create their own fantasy football team on an actual field.
Trade Jarwin, trade Zeke, trade Pollard. We're just playing with wide receivers. Don't worry about it. Play with 6 offensive linemen and 4 receivers.
Let's go.
And 1 quarterback.
Just pretty much a glorified 7-on-7, which is how the game is trending anyway. So you might be ahead of the curve.
Let's get it.
I mean, I lost my fantasy this week because of the Zeke touchdown that was a touchdown, but then they decided not to look at it, and then they gave the ball to Pollard. Awesome.
Can't relate. I'm in dominant form this year in fantasy.
Would have been 4-0.
Yeah. I'm 4-0 in the big money league, 3-1, 3-1 in the other leagues. And I tell you what, I'm overcoming some injuries here. I'm playing that waiver wire, and that's the sign of a true fantasy GM is can you play the waiver wire? And right now, it's sink or swim. I'm out here doing the breaststroke.
It's got to be that way in the COVID year.
I don't know which one. I don't know which one it is.
It's the fun one to say. That's what
I think it's the one that goes with the wide arms, and then
that's
the one
butterfly.
here.
That's the butterfly.
Oh, that's the and then this is the breast where they do real weird stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you know the actual motion. You swam in high school.
I did. Long time ago. Lacrosse, swim, football. Did it all.
Boy.
All right. You want to get into this debating here, Aidan?
Might as well.
Then we'll let Jeff get out of here.
We'll get a little hostile.
So obviously, Jeff, the name is Birds versus Boys. We try to have fun with it, and we always get into some sort of debate topics. Before the season started, we had a little fun one. Who would win in a bar fight, the Eagles defensive line or the Dallas O-line? And I don't even want to talk about that anymore.
Ooh, hold on. Tyron would get hurt. Biotish that's Wisconsin. That's some toughness there. Connor Williams would not be good. Martin, he'd be good, but I don't feel like he wants to be violent. He would just be very respectful. And then Knight, we're in trouble there.
If we had Lyle Collins, I feel like he could be a home wrecker.
Yeah, he'd be a problem. That dude is a problem. The other Cowboys offensive linemen are scared of him. He's a monster.
We joke that Joe Looney and Brandon Graham would just be sitting on the other side, just laughing, having a conversation.
Oh yeah, Looney's not fighting. Looney would spend the whole time being like, "Guys, what's the deal? What? There's beer. We can play music. What are we doing?
Why are we doing this? We can play pool. We got the pool table." All right. So off that. So Aidan loved CeeDee Lamb, and obviously you were CeeDee Lamb from the jump, Team 40 Burger. So the night we actually live streamed for Brandon Sports, we live streamed the draft because the bulk of everybody are Eagles fans, and then we have people in Boston that are Patriot fans. So when the CeeDee Lamb pick came up, it actually broke Aidan in half, and I think Vince has a picture of it from that night. Yeah, those are the two guys. Where'd it go, Vince? It was.
I got to glance at it.
It was. They were just. Yeah. They were in misery. But then once the off season came, Aidan was all over Reagor. He's even called him Julio Reagor because the Wentz comments that he was kind of like Julio Jones. So I want you guys to battle it out. You're going to take my spot, Jeff. Better career in the end, CeeDee Lamb or Jalen Reagor. This is going to be fun. And a little bonus, which out of all the first round receivers this year are going to have the best career overall? So I'll let Jeff go first.
CeeDee will have the best career of all the first round receivers. The way I had him ranked going into the draft was CeeDee, Judy, Reagor, Jefferson, And I'd have to pull him back up. But Higgins enters there somewhere. Ayuk enters there somewhere. But those are my top 4. And I know we don't have a Vikings representative here, but holy crap, Justin Jefferson is absolutely killing it. And I know a lot of Eagle fans wanted him, and I told them, chill out. I liked Reagor better than Jefferson, and now I'm sitting there going, well, Rager's not playing. He's hurt. He can't prove anything, and Jefferson's out here balling. Maybe I'm stupid. But yeah, CeeDee's off to a heck of a head start. He's on track for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns this year, and Rager's on track to, I don't know, is he going to play? Maybe he'll play. Did he play for a second? I don't know.
He had like a 50-yard catch, I think. One.
Yeah. Okay. So he had a catch. So that's cool. So at the end of this year, it'll be 1,200 to 50. And then, there's a lot of years left. But here's the thing. What's about to happen here, what the Cowboys are gearing up for, at least in my mind, is Michael Gallup is finishing year 3. He'll start wanting money. And then after one more year, if he doesn't get an extension or get traded immediately, they're not going to pay him and have Amari Cooper and have CeeDee Lamb. They might trade Amari Cooper because he'll be out of guaranteed money at the same time Gallup has to be paid. Somebody's getting out of here, and CeeDee Lamb's getting 160 targets per season. The reason he'll have a better career is Reagor is the more explosive vertical guy, but CeeDee does not have a weakness. In terms of giant catch radius, route running ability, he's going to be quarterback's best friend forever. I think Rager's ceiling is a better Deshaun Jackson who can have a little more volume than that. But CeeDee's ceiling, I think, is top 5 wide receiver in the league. So I don't think it's a debate, and I don't envy Aidan for having to try the other side, but I do welcome hearing it.
I will try. I should have probably deleted all my CeeDee Lamb tweets before I took the opposing side in the argument. And we're off to a hot start because I had the same top 4 receivers going into the draft. So we're off to a hot start. I will obviously choose Reagor. What's that?
I was going to say, before you go, I had, do you guys know Fran Duffy? I think he's at Eagles.com. He had me be the Dallas representative for a mock draft, and CeeDee Lamb made it to 17. And I was like, the Cowboys would never do this, but I, in good conscience, can't pass, so I'm taking CeeDee anyway. He's not going to be available. The Cowboys wouldn't pick him, but I'm picking him. And he's like, well, we want to be as realistic as possible, so are you sure you want to pick CeeDee Lamb? And I was like, stop bothering me. I'm not letting him get to another team. I don't care if it's realistic. He's on the board in our stupid world, so I'm picking him. And all the Eagle fans were so mad because he went off the board, and it was glorious. Back to you.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That is so funny. That is exactly how it played out. And in the war room, that's exactly what they were saying. They're like, I don't care. He's here on the board. We're taking him.
We have to.
You just have to. Best player available.
And the worst too with our night was I was delayed. So I had the YouTube TV like you do, Jeff, and I was delayed compared to all of them. So they all were fine. They took me off the screen. I was like, I don't want to know. And then they came back like that, and I was like, don't tell me. Don't tell me who they get. And they're like, I'm like, stop. And I just lost my mind.
I couldn't hide my emotions. I was like on the verge of tears pretty much.
I was setting all our listeners up, not only on the Fan, but on DallasCowboys.com nationwide. It was like, look, they should pick CeeDee, but I think they're going to pick Chase on. They're going to go defense. They're not going to pick the best player. And then they did, and I lost my mind, and I didn't have words. It was great.
We were on the live stream, and I had one of these little AirPods in with you in my ear listening to that, and I was like, that's not going to happen. I want it to happen, but it's not going to happen.
You can just see it trending that way.
Now it turns out you should have traded down and picked 6 defensive players. No, I'm kidding. I keep CeeDee forever. I don't care.
Please.
And we should have traded up because the second round pick we didn't trade up and use as bait ended up going to a backup quarterback. So here we are.
Wow. Shots fired at the future of the franchise. Boomer Sooner.
Oh, geez.
Hey.
All right. Well, I will go Reagor, especially for the sake of debate. But I do think there's you brought up Justin Jefferson, and people are ready to write off Reagor after 1 month of football in their careers as Jefferson's better, CeeDee Lamb's better, Jerry Jeudy's better, just because Reagor's hurt. We just lived through this where everybody wanted Earl Thomas in the city for a very long time. And Brandon Graham has ended up having the better career than them. It was Jason Pierre-Paul, Earl Thomas, and Brandon Graham. And for a few seasons, it looked like, hey, the Eagles lost this. They should have took those guys. But now here we are. Brandon Graham has been sustainable. He's been the head of our offense or our defense for quite some time. So I'm not going to give up on Reagor after 4 weeks. I think he's been what Wentz has been missing for his entire career, is really, aside from 1 week against the having Deshaun Jackson, he's had no home run threats. Going back to his rookie year where he was throwing like Bryce Treggs was his deep threat. I think it just opens up our offense. I love CeeDee Lamb. I love his yards after the catch ability. But Reagor, he also helps out in the punt return game as well. So I'm not giving up on Reagor just yet because of 1 month. And you saw week 1 against the Redskins, it's a 3rd and 22. They say, Wentz says, fuck it, I'm just going deep to Reagor. And I think we could seriously have 6 to 8 years of that if everything works out and if we play it smart. So
who did they play week 1? Who did they play week 1?
Washington. Sorry.
Thank you.
I swore.
I won the debate, but I want to go backwards for a second. And you think Brandon Graham's had a better career than Earl Thomas? I know Earl's is over basically, but did he have a better career?
Yeah, longevity-wise, I would say so.
Earl's going to the Hall.
So I think in Philadelphia, people might be a little bit biased because of the Super Bowl play. Like if Brandon Graham isn't there, like if you don't take Brandon Graham, do they win that Super Bowl? So I think that gives him like a +1. I don't have anything against Earl Thomas. Kevin's been trying to bring him on the Cowboys for 6 weeks, but I'd say longevity-wise, yeah. But it's just like,
Kevin, I'll tell you why nobody wants him. I'll DM you. I can't say it in public because it's irresponsible without proof, but I can.
Well, juicy. We won't say it on here, but I would love to hear why. I'm sure it's not on the field stuff.
Well, actually, part of it's on the field. It's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing's not on the field, but apparently, yes, in Baltimore, that was part of it. They were like, you don't even look at the playbook. You're totally freelancing and screwing everything up, and you're not good anymore. And that's why he punched a guy. But that's not the reason that he's not on a team. I'll let you know.
Fair enough.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Good to know.
Follow me on YouTube.
That.
I won't tell you on there either because, again, it's irresponsible, but I'll pretend I will.
All right. We'll take it.
So before we let you get out of here. Oh, what?
I was just going to concede the debate because I tried my best on Reagor.
I mean, you lost both
ready
debates.
to have him back.
You lost the Reagor CD debate and you lost the Earl Thomas and Brandon Graham debate. So you're 0-2.
Oh, tough day. Tough day.
All right, Jeff. Let the people know where they can find it when we get you out of here.
At JC1053 on Twitter, at youtube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh on 1053 The Fan, the home of the Cowboys and DFW from 2 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. On Instagram, I post pictures of the food I make at Time for Jeffrey, and on Twitch at Time for Jeffrey. There you go. Stuff.
Nice.
And he is a Fortnite master as well, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I play Call of Duty.
Oh, Call of Duty. That's right. Excuse me.
Used to be Fortnite. Right. Now I'm a Warzone guy.
That's
Fortnite's
right.
for kids. What are you talking about?
All right, Jeff. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. Love everything you do. Thanks for bringing the insight and the comedy as well. So thank you for joining us.
All right. Love you guys. I'm going to DM you, but don't say anything.
I don't know anything.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jeff.
No problem.
See ya. A big thank you again to Jeff Cavanaugh for joining us in that interview. Had so much fun with that. Can't wait for the promo videos that producer Vince is going to put out. Make sure you're following his YouTube channel in case he gets fired from the radio. Follow his Twitter at JC1053. And I think it's time for us now to talk a little Eagles, Cowboys to close this episode out. So you seem to be putting the Steelers on upset alert. So I'm going to let you go first today, Aidan.
Upset alert. Upset alert. Upset alert. Yes, they should be on upset alert, and I'm completely just recency bias again, I guess you could call it. Here we are again. I've talked myself into the Eagles. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
That's what my buddy Matt and I do every Cowboys game we watch together because they're blown out, and then they start coming back, and we just look across the room to each other and go,
yep, you will blow the doors off the Giants and say, well, we're right back in this thing. Mm-hmm. So here I have 2 quick points on the Eagles. I don't have much. I think there's just 2 quick keys, and I think we go from there. So I expect this to be the breakout Miles Sanders game. Harry Mays brought it up earlier this week. Miles Sanders has not been as good as advertised. Part of that is the offensive line. I have to say that. But it looks like there's just another gear that he hasn't hit yet. Coming home to Pittsburgh, I think it will be his game. It just feels like he's going to get on track soon as he gets healthier and back in the swing of things. Remember, he missed all of training camp. Yep. And Something Adam Kaplan brought it up, and I would like to say it as well and just kind of piggyback off that. Jordan Mailata is probably going to struggle this week, and that's okay. We don't have to sound the nuclear alarm. It's not a 5-alarm fire if he doesn't play well against TJ Watt, because that happens to every tackle in the league.
Nobody plays well against TJ Watt.
Exactly. And JJ Watt this week too with Bill O'Brien out. He might have 6 sacks. It's Stephon Tuitt, TJ Watt. They have that 3-4 defense, which is rare. He's going to struggle. But you know what would help him out? If they ran the ball effectively. So for that, I think it's the Miles Sanders breakout game.
I like it. I hope you're wrong.
So Vince is bringing it up. The Steelers are 3-0, but they've beaten three pretty bad teams, the Giants, the Texans, and the Broncos. I still think they're good, but if there was a time where they would lose a game, it would be right now. So that's why. Now, Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I agree with you there. Again, I did call the Eagles going into San Francisco. Winning that game, it just felt like one of those games that the Eagles win. And I want to be all over the Steelers this weekend. I think the Steelers do win this game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than national media pundits may think it's going to be.
Yeah. If they do win, here's why. They have 3 legitimate weapons on the outside. I'm assuming Darius Slay is going to follow Juju Smith-Schuster around. Oh, my God, I got JJ right there. Whiteside in my mind. I wish it was Juju, not JJ. So I think the issue that the Eagles could run into, I think they're going to attack the other side. They call Roby Coleman in the slot. Trayvon LeBlanc, I love him, but he's a bit slow. And then Jalen Mills playing corner again. And we have some young safeties out there as well. Marcus Epps is hurt. He might not play, so it's Kayvon Wallace, the rookie. I think Deontay Johnson being healthy, James Washington, I really think they're going to attack on the other side. If the Eagles lose this game, it's because they attack their weakest link, which right now is the side opposite of Darius Slay. But even that being said, even if they do get a few home runs off that, they're still on upset alert.
Yeah, watch out for Chase Claypool, the rookie from Notre Dame.
True, he is a beast, and we have smaller corners, and he's a physical freak, so I can see that as well. Pretty much anything like I don't want to jinx it, but I'm confident in Darius Slay, not very confident in the rest. Now Juju will have 3 touchdowns, but let's proceed with the Cowboys in their game against the mighty New York Football Giants.
So we have the 0-4 Giants coming to Dallas to play the 1-3 Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are 9.5-point favorites. I'm not touching that line. If the Cowboys lose at home to Jason Garrett, Danny Nichols, and the 0-4 Giants, fold the franchise and pray that COVID cancels the season, you're 1-4 and you get a top 5 pick.
You know what? Maybe maybe you just need a reset. Like maybe if that happens, that's just God telling you, the football God saying, maybe it's just time for a reset. Don't worry. I've thought about the Eagles many times. Like this was our Super Bowl window. We got a Super Bowl. Guess what? It's a cycle. So you can get back there, but you might have to go through a rebuild. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be a good thing. It'll be so less stressful. If you just lose this week, just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
I'm like the devil on Mike McCarthy's shoulder. Just do it. Just lose to the Giants. Just do it. You know you wanna. You know your defense will improve. You get a top 5 pick, you can get Micah Parsons. You can get Jamar Chase. You can have 4 wide receivers. Just do it.
We already have Noah Brown too. We can have 5.
You got 5.
Look at that. I'm confident that this bad run defense can slow the Giants down, but watch, Devontae Freeman's going to run for 100. And I would not be surprised if Daniel Jones puts up numbers against his secondary. I mean, I could see him throwing for 300 this weekend. Slayton is no joke. Tate still got a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of Jalen Ramsey's fist.
Yeah, how about that? Ramsey just leaving his sister pregnant at home, being
I did not realize that backstory.
Yeah,
that felt like a VH1 show.
Yeah, I had no idea. But Daniel Dimes does turn the ball over a lot. So I'm hoping for a turnover or 2. However, the Dallas Cowboys defense don't get turnovers. So Danny Dimes has not had a game yet this season without a turnover. So, and Dallas only has 2 turnovers. So something's gonna bend. Either he's not gonna turn it over because Dallas defense doesn't do it, or he's gonna continue to, and Dallas is actually gonna get a turnover. But this game really hinges on the offense. If you listened to the interview with Jeff Cavanaugh just before, the big thing is going to be do not turn the ball over. You can't keep turning the ball over. You know this defense stinks. You know they're going to struggle. You can't continually turn the ball over and then put that bad defense in bad spots. Zeke, hold on to the goddamn ball. And like Jeff said, Dak, you just got to know that the pressure's coming and get rid of it. Or, I don't know, maybe help our weak tackles. Put the tight end over there. Have Zeke block. Just do what you need to do to not turn the ball over. The offense should put up points this weekend at home against the Giants. And special teams. Tony Pollard.
Just kneel it, please.
Just let the ball go over your head. You get it at the 25. It's free. It's not. You don't even have to. You don't even need a Metro card to get on the bus. You get on the bus at the 25 for free. Okay.
Then they start at the 23.
Yeah, and they start at they average at the 23. It's awesome. So I am hoping that the Dallas Cowboys win this game. I am confident, but I'm not touching that 9.5 point line.
This is one of those games where I brought it up with you guys and I asked Jeff, like, this offense is so good, they're going to win a lot of shootouts. I could see the Giants putting up points, like you said, but I could see them putting up 24 and this game not even feeling like it's close.
Yep.
But I like the Cowboys this week, but they should just lose. Just get a top 5 pick. Just do it. Be 1-4. You should be 0-4 already if it wasn't for the asshole Falcons.
Now imagine if this run defense was going against Saquon Barkley.
I know. Well, the offensive line still sucks, which this is a get-right game for them. Like, if you can't get pressure this week, if you can't stop the run this week, it is never going to happen this year. So this could be a get-right game for them. I know I mentioned that for the Cardinals. So we'll see. If both of our teams came out with a win this week, I would not be shocked because we're on upset alert.
Upset. And so are the Cowboys.
So are the Cowboys. All right. I think I'm confident this week for us. We'll end on a positive note. I think we'll be okay.
And next week we are interviewing Lindsay OK. So I want us both to be very positive and happy going into that interview with her.
Yes, and she's the biggest Joe Flacco fan in the world, and Joe Flacco is literally starting this week. So couldn't have happened at a more perfect time.
So we absolutely need a Joe Flacco win before we have.
We just need the over, buddy.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Thank you. You got left?
No, that's it. I was just going to thank the good people for listening and watching on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing, rating. I mean, you're either listening on Apple or Spotify or Google. You're watching us on YouTube. I mean, we're good-looking guys. We don't just have faces for radio. I mean, you can watch us too. Producer Vince does a very good job of putting these videos together. So make sure you check out the video as well.
We're very solid soft sixes. Hey, give it a try. But we got some big guests coming up in the future here. We had to start a calendar. It was getting that filled. So that's how you know we're getting official. There's a calendar. But all right. Yeah. So it'll help business for sure if we get 2 wins this week. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll see. And we'll be back come Monday. Like I said, a lot of guests coming up next week.
Follow us at Birds vs. Boys Pod on Twitter. Branded_sports on Twitter, thebrandedsports.com. I'm at KMS22.
I'm around. You can find me somewhere.
Thank you to Bovada for sponsoring our locks, and we will be back next week. Enjoy week 5 of the NFL. This was Birds vs. Boys.
Upset alert.